I'll fucking kill you.
Alright, so this is going to be like an overview slash review of Cyberpunk 2077. You know, my discussions, once again, I have to reiterate, this is my opinion. So, you know, if you agree, cool. If you disagree, cool. You know, please refrain from, like, trying to attack me for my opinion. So, since, you know, if you say anything negative about this game, people will try to, you know, basically murder you. So, let's get to it. I remember seeing the trailer for this in like 2013, 2014. It was like that, you know, video of the chick with the mantis arms. So I was like, cool, you know. It really intrigued me. And then we didn't hear about it for a while. And I was like, why would you release a trailer for a game? And, you know, it says it'll release date when ready. And I'm like, well, then why would you release a trailer so early? You know. I just think back, like, you know, we saw a trailer 7 years ago and it just came out in 2020. Like, damn. But, you know, I know everyone likes the Witcher series. It's not really my thing, and I do love fantasy games. I love fantasy and sci-fi, but I played a little bit of Witcher 1, didn't like it. Witcher 2, I played for a good while, didn't care for it. Witcher 3, I played, I think, for like 7 hours, and I couldn't get into it. I'm not saying it's a bad game, you know. I know it is a good game. It's just not my thing, you know. I could not get into it, but you know, I was excited to hear, you know, CD Projekt Red making a FPS like futuristic. It's almost like the polar opposite of what they did with The Witcher. So I was very interested, and honestly, like even this year, you know, they kept showing trailers, and I was like, okay, you know, it looks cool. But I'm sitting there like, what's new? You know, everyone's hyping it up like, oh my god, like, oh, it's gonna have this and that. And even they were like, oh, the character customization, man. They kept going on and on about it. I was like, wow, you know, it must be something I've never seen before. I cannot wait to finally play it. Like, I'm genuinely interested. And so, loading up the game. Also, here's another thing that's kind of shitty. They basically blocked reviews for the PS4 and Xbox One until basically the day of release. And then it released, and on the OG PS4 and Xbox One, it's basically a piece of shit. And, you know, they came out and they were like, we're sorry. You know, it's that South Park. We're sorry. We're sorry. We're sorry. I was like, oh, fuck off, man. Really? You knew what you were doing by blocking those, you know, reviews. Like, don't sit here and act like, oh, we had no idea. I'm so sorry. It's like you knew what you were doing, so that's really fucking scummy. But, you know, another discussion is, God, I'm going off on tangents here, but I just gotta say everything. People, you know, who are hardcore defending this game will sit there and say, well, it's because the fans were sending death. You know, once again, you should not be sending death threats to anybody. That's a big no-no. But they're like, well, the people were growing impatient, and so they demanded the game be released. And it's like, okay, well, they kept saying, oh, we'll release it April 2020. Oh, September. Oh, November. It's gone gold. We're not delaying it anymore. And then people, you know, they delayed it again. People were like, bruh, they said it's gold, it's ready. Okay? They themselves said it. And honestly, from what I can gather, they've at least had minimum 4 to 5 years of development. So I don't want to hear any of this BS about like, oh, they just needed more time, dude. Because how much time do you need? Because playing the game, it feels like playing a game that should have came out 5 years ago. I mean, I feel like I'm playing nothing new. It feels like I'm playing a game from 2015, like GTA 5, something like that, and nothing feels new. And I'll continue that, but let me go back to my main point, the character customization. It was all hyped up, and it's plain, it's generic. I mean, there's barely any haircuts. You can't really do anything, and for, you know, a game where in the world itself says like you can change your entire voice, your looks, your face, it's a little sad that once you do your character customization, that's it. And also, at least for me, and I'm playing on PC, for some reason, every time I look in a mirror, my hair is gone and I'm bald. But, you know, you'll see characters in the game with, like, cybernetic, it looks like sunglasses, but it's cybernetic eyes, or cybernetic jaws, or they got things on their forehead, or some of them, it looks like their fucking skull is, I mean, it's all cybernetic, and they don't even really have eyes. It's like Cyclops, you know, his, like, eyes. It's all weird. And so I was like, oh, I can't do that, I guess? That's weird and kind of stupid. And I just kept going, and I was like, I also can't change my body type? Like, short, tall, fat, buff, like, really? That's kind of weird. But of course, you know, the big thing is like, oh, look, you can have tits and a dick. And I was like, cool, I guess, you know? And what's weird is that if you pick the male preset, you can't put boobs on him. You have to pick the female preset, and then you can put a dick on it. And I was like, what? Why? Just have it where it can be a male or female preset, and just, I can do that. Like, that's just such a weird loophole. And, you know, it's, you can have small, medium, large dick, and, you know, uncut, cut, and I'm like, you know, you guys really are hyping this up, and what is the point? Like, okay, your character customization is generic as shit like any other game like Fallout. So, what's so good about it exactly? And in the game so far, whenever I've had V have sex with like a hooker, or, you know, Pan Am, whatever, it never shows his dick. Ever. Like, in scenes where it should be showing it, they'll find a way to not show it. And so I'm like, you know, you're trying to be edgy and, like, you know, very mature, but then you're gonna sit here and be like, oh, we can't show this and this, so why am I even picking a dick size or whatever? Or I'm sure if I pick the female, it show her boobs, but no, it doesn't show anything. And even when you're like having sex with the women, it really only just shows their top half. And so I'm like, oh, okay, so you guys hyped it up and it's pretty PG, honestly, so it's a little sad. And then in your inventory screen, if you take off your pants, I mean, your dick will flop out and you can see it. But then if you go back into the game, at least that's what it's doing for me, is that I'm wearing underwear. And so I was like, bro, I literally wanted my guy to just run around in like full armor with, except his dick's flopped out. But I guess I can't do that. So that's about it for the custom, you know, creation. It's just kind of a letdown, you know? It just kind of, yeah, it's sad when you see so many people in the game world look so cool. But going back to the whole, you know, them being kind of scummy PS4, Xbox One thing, and the delays, it's like, they said it's gold. And, you know, maybe if they would have just stopped, you know, saying, okay, it's about to come out, it's about to come out. And I get it, you know, fans are persistent and annoying. And so I guess you could say you couldn't win no matter what. But you've had so long to develop it. And, you know, and I've heard the argument, well, this is their first time making a FPS sci-fi game. And I was like, it ain't their first time making a game. Okay, and I'm not going to sit here and obviously act like I'm, you know, a video game expert. But all I'm saying is I've seen other studios make both FPS or third-person, both sci-fi and fantasy games, and not have this many problems on the, you know, like their first ones. And so I don't, you know, I don't excuse it. And another thing it just pisses me off is that when I hear, oh, you can't judge the game until the day one patch, dude. Really? You're gonna pull that fucking card on me? The day one patch? It's like, okay, so all these people who shit on, you know, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which I did too. I mean, because honestly, like, they finally updated it where I can finish the game, but I just don't care anymore because you made me wait 4 weeks. But all these people with any other game, they'd be like, buggy mess like usual. But then with Cyberpunk and The Witcher, they're like, The Witcher 3 got better. Oh, The Witcher 3 got better, man, once they patched it. And with Cyberpunk, it's the same thing. you cannot judge it until they fix the bugs. It's like, I'm gonna judge it the day it releases. And I think there was a day one patch, and I still had some horrible bugs I ran into. I mean, I know, because the video I posted, that was my own screenshot. You know, the mission with Jackie, he was twitching all over the floor and flopping around. People T-posing. I've had my car blow up randomly as it's just coming to me. I have failed side missions permanently because I'll be driving and then my car just gets stuck into the ground and then I fail. I've had it where I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's the controller or something. I don't know what's going on with controller support. But I'll press a button and it won't work. My guns won't fire. Well, some guns will, some guns won't. I've had it where my mantis arms get stuck permanently. Missions not working, where it's like, hey, wait for this person to call, and then it doesn't work. And so you have to keep restarting the game. Luckily, I've had no crashes, but it's restart the game, restart the game, restart the game. And I'm like, dude, how many times do I gotta restart the game, man? Like, come on. And so there are noticeable bugs to me. Is this a Fallout 76? Hell no. It feels more like a Skyrim. But, you know, and I see people, you know, oh, well, you'll defend Skyrim and all of its bugs. I'm like, hell no. I'm pissed off at Bethesda, you know? I'm tired of them releasing the same bullshit every year. I mean, every time they release a game, and it's the same bugs from the previous games, and it's like, this is unacceptable. And with CD Projekt Red, I mean, I'm not holding back. It's like, no, this is ridiculous. Like, this amount of bugs is ridiculous. And so, that's just, you know, my rant on that. But going back into the game itself, I'm going to talk about the gameplay. The gameplay is generic, but I can't fully fault the game for that, because I guess what more can you do with an FPS? I mean, I have some ideas, and I don't know, you know, because you can unlock double jumps, you can unlock a charge jump, you can semi-parkour a little bit. I wish that they would have just integrated parkour, as in like Dying Light, where it's full on like running up walls. And you're telling me in the future, when I can have a rocket launcher arm and all kinds of crazy shit, I can't have spider arms or something where I can climb up buildings or wall run? So that was a little weird. You know, combat is as simple as it can be. You press square to reload, left trigger to aim, right trigger to shoot. You know, that's your generic things, but it's, to me, it feels stiff. And what I mean by that is, like, when I play newer FPS games, I feel like it's very modernized and everything feels very fluid. Whereas with Cyberpunk, if it honestly feels like GTA 5, that's why I said it feels like a game that came out 5 years ago, because you point a pistol and it feels just so stiff and so robotic. The only weapon so far that I've fired that feels very fluid would be this like charging shotgun I have. But combat could feel more fluid. This is why a part of me wishes it was third person, not first person, because I do feel like this would have been a great cover-based third person shooter, which I don't want, you know, people to think like, oh, well, you just want a copy of GTA 5. I don't. I just, in my personal opinion, I like third person shooter games more than first person shooter games, and I feel like you can make combat more fluid that way. But yeah, with weapons, and then with picking weapons, I was anticipating there to be more of a weapon selection. There really isn't. You know, I can't. It's like normal pistols, revolvers, big revolvers, automatic pistols. I think there's like 3 different kinds of shotguns. There's submachine guns, assault rifles. There's not really much of each category, is what I'm trying to say. At least from what I've noticed, I'm like, it's the same gun over and over and over again. Melee weapons, in my opinion, have the most variety, which I love the melee weapons. You know, with the weapon customization is what I'm trying to say. I thought that would be a big thing. I'm almost shocked that there isn't. Okay, you can change out the scopes and you can put like silencers or a muzzle brake, whatever. But that's it. It's honestly disappointing. I thought you could change the color of the gun, or you know, add like bigger magazines, different stock, you know, maybe different kinds of bullets, or I don't know, just, you know, do more customization to your gun and like upgrade it more than just like crafting a better version. And it's just kind of, you know, that was my biggest disappointment with Borderlands 3. You know, just a quick note is like, I feel like these games nowadays, especially when it's like trying to focus heavily on like, look at these cool guns and stuff, needs to have a really good you know, weapon customization. So that was a little sad, but you can install mods on them and stuff, so that's at least neat. It's the same with clothes. You can't change the color of clothes, which really sucks, because luckily for me, the outfit I have found the colors I wanted, so I lucked out. But for a while it was like, oh, I like these pants, but they're neon purple or pink, and so I was like, ugh. Or it'll be really good armor and it's like this other color. I'm like, ah, you telling me I can't change the color? Like, come on, man. And you know what? Because it's customization as a whole. You can't customize your cars. You can't customize your clothes. You can't customize your weapons. And so, you know, it's like, ouch. Okay, damn. You basically have to buy every kind of car and then pick from it from your selection, which is really stupid in my opinion. I don't want to have 30 cars in my damn garage. Like, I don't need that. Luckily, I unlocked, you have your, you know, your starting out vehicle. I unlocked a motorcycle, and then I unlocked the vehicle from the trailer, the Quattro Turbo R or whatever. I mean, and I love it. It's fast and it handles good, and so I have no issues. And so I don't care to do any of the car missions to get other cars. And speaking of which, the driving, oh my god, let me get into the driving, man. And you know, this just sounds like I'm being such a hater, and I'm honestly like, I'm trying not to sound like a negative a-hole, but there's just so much of this game where I'm like, it's fun, but I just don't care, you know? Like, it's fun to play, but how I feel about it is how I feel about GTA 5. Is like, it's fun to get on and, you know, mess around, and then you're just kind of like, okay, I'm done. But the driving in this game is god awful, and I don't want to hear anybody sit here trying to tell me like, oh, you just need to get better, you just suck. You're full shit if you say that, because besides that Quadra Turbo R that I've unlocked, every supercar I've found, I mean, you barely touch the analog stick and it fishtails and spins the fuck out every goddamn car. Like, you know, and then it doesn't help that the mini-map barely zooms out, and so if you have a sharp turn coming and you're going 150, I mean, you're going to miss that. You're trying to turn around, you'll fishtail spin out and probably run into someone, kill them, the cops spawn in and can fucking kill you. So, you know, the driving mechanics are atrocious, honestly. I hate it. Luckily, with motorcycles, it's not as bad. And so I basically drove a motorcycle the whole time, because I hate driving a car, especially supercars. I mean, I want to drive around, but I'm not going to drive around when I miss a corner and fishtail and my car flings into the air and then lands and kills 3 people, and then the cops come and blow my car up. So yeah, driving, it could be better. But like I said, the car I unlocked now, the handling is better. But, well, because, you know, you'll see NPCs driving around, and they drive insanely, like, even on missions, they're driving super fast, cutting corners. I'm like, okay, no. But yeah, with the driving, whatever. And since I just mentioned it, I'll go off on that. The police system in this game is just like GTA 5, except for what's stupid in this game, because I don't remember it being this bad in GTA 5, is that, you know, you accidentally commit a crime because your damn car flings all over the place. You accidentally kill someone, and then I'll be, you know, I'm trying to drive away, and then a cop just spawns in front of my car, and then I accidentally kill him, and then I have 2 stars, and then they start sending more and more crazy police officers, and then it just spawned. I mean, literally in my game, it spawned like 11 to 12 cops, and they all just started shooting at my car. And since your car keeps fishtailing and shit, I was stuck. And they were able to blow up my car and kill me in a matter of seconds. And so I was like, this is stupid. This is dumb. Okay? Like, you know, why are you spawning a cop in front of my fucking car while I'm driving? And so that I run him, like, you know, you're entrapping me. Like, stop it. Or, you know, it'll be like a beat cop that's being a douche to you, and then he'll attack you, and if you fight back, at least in my case, it'll notify the police. So I was like, what the... Bro, I wasn't even doing anything. He just attacked me. And so I was like, there's just some things like, what? And, you know, I mean, I guess that's my little rant about the cops, but now going on to NPCs, dude, the world, I mean, honestly just feels dead. Because yes, there's a lot of NPCs, but they're not doing anything. You'll run by a few that are talking, but besides that, they're either just standing there saying nothing, or they'll say the same one line over and over again. And I was like, well, this is stupid. This is kind of lame. Unless it's like an NPC you know personally, it's just like, it's just a fake world, or, you know. Because obviously you can hear the audio of like a bunch of people talking, but then whenever you walk up, a lot of people aren't really doing anything, and so I was like, this is kind of taking me out of it a little bit. But, you know, it's nice, like, if you point a gun at them, they'll react, or they'll have facial animations. That's one thing I can say is, like, I'll point a gun at someone, and he'll actually make a face like he's scared. Or in cutscenes with people that you're supposed to be in missions with. Obviously, they focused on that, but... You know, the facial animations, in my opinion, were good. You know, it feels very alive, and they're actually, like, reacting to the littlest things you say. So I do like that. And going back to all this, I do find the gameplay fun. It's just generic and really uninspired. But, yeah, the NPCs, the story. In my opinion, the intro with your friend Jackie is probably the best part of the game, story-wise. Besides that, it's just kind of hit or miss in my opinion, because you choose from 3 different, you know, life paths. I think Street Kid, Nomad, and Corpo. Corpo, obviously, you're like a corporation guy in the city. Street Kid, you're like a poor person in the city, and then Nomad, you're from the outside, like, desert area. And as far as I know, it does not matter. Picking your intro only changes literally like some dialogue options and the first, like, you know, 15-minute intro, and that's it. So that was really disheartening, because my Corpo intro, I was like, whoa, like, man, you're gonna have me do so much stuff. I don't even know how I end up like in a situation like later in the game. And then it's just like, no, that cool thing, no, we're just gonna skip it. Here's a montage of what you're doing for the next 6 months. Looks cool, huh? Okay, well, we're never gonna gloss over it again. And then, you know, they show you this montage where it's like, I mean, you're doing cool stuff, you know, you're like committing crimes and getting all kinds of cool guns and getting the women and the money, cars. And then after it's over, you know, Jackie's like, oh, why don't we run through combat training? And I'm like, bro, you just showed me for the last 6 months that I've been like hardcore killing people and stuff. So what the hell? And I have no weapons, really? Like, even though in the montage you showed my guy picking up cool weapons. So I was like, you probably shouldn't have shown that, or should have done a better job. But yeah, the intros don't really matter. But you know, also like my favorite character is Jackie Wells, your friend. And he's not even in the game that long, and so that's what really disappoints me. Is I'm like, man, the one character I feel like they really wanted you to care about, they're like, okay, bye. And then not really any other character I care about. I mean, Pan Am, just because I'm trying to romance her, but I was like, eh. And the story itself is, you know, you gotta get help before you die, and it's, you know, it's interesting with what they did with Keanu Reeves, but I also feel like Keanu Reeves, I mean, it's just kind of eh. I feel like you could easily put someone who isn't Keanu Reeves in the role and probably get the same effect. So, like, you know, the first few times you see Johnny Silverhand, I'm like, oh shit, okay, Keanu Reeves. But then eventually I'm just like, oh, okay, it's just that guy. But, you know, I think I'm close to the end of the game. I'm at 31 hours, so that's not too bad. You know, because, I mean, I guess that's it for the story. It's hard because I don't really want to spoil anything, but I will say I do like that there's a lot of side missions in the story. I really appreciate that. There's a lot of stuff to do side mission wise, which I do appreciate. There's not really any mini games though. There's like the drag racing and shooting gallery, but that's about it. You can't really gamble, which is weird, and can't really do other stuff. I wouldn't really consider the boxing ring thing mini game, but yeah, I guess that would be it for the story. But you know, I had read an article before the game came out, like, oh, quality assurance guy says that Cyberpunk 2077 takes 165 hours to beat or hasn't beat yet, and I was like, that I need to read that because that sounds something's up. And it's basically like, I think it was like a guy who was part of the team said he played it on the hardest difficulty, doing stealth only, and was trying to 100% collect everything. And I was like, okay, well, of course, if you do that, it's gonna take you a while. But for your average player who probably does all the collectibles, does all the side quests, and the main story, and plays it probably on normal or hard, it's not gonna take him a long time. You know, I know a lot of people are like 90 to 100, 160 hours in The Witcher 3, and they're like, bro, like, damn. I don't know if I would get that from Cyberpunk. Because, I mean, yeah, you can be stealthy, but is that really the only way to make the game last? Is I have to put it on the hardest difficulty and only do stealth? I can't just play the way I want to? So, I need to see that for myself. Which, you know, inherently, it's not bad that a game is like 50 hours. I have no issue with that. Honestly, I'd rather have a really fun, enjoyable game for 50 hours than 160 hours, and I'm like, you know, I'm just doing this because I'm trying to scrape by. But yeah, you know, it is what it is, and I know there'll be DLC planned to expand upon things, but as the moment that it is, it's just severely underwhelming. But you know, not trying to be super negative here. Like I said, I love the aesthetic of the world. I mean, full-on Blade Runner / Akira. I will sometimes just sit there on my motorcycle staring because I'm like, I think this is good, you know? I like what they did. There's a lot of lore in the world. My copy of the game came with a little compendium book, and so I was reading over that, which I wish, you know, they kind of had a thing. Honestly, I wish a lot of games that focus on, like, telling you lore and not really the story would just do it like Mass Effect. Just give me a codex in the game that just I can just sit there and listen to and read. That would be the best thing. Because I do like the compendium, but I was like, this could have just been in the game. But that's more of a nitpick. But, you know, it explains a lot. You know, it's believable too, you know, that in 2020 it's like a war with Mexico and nuclear warfare and all this. And I was like, okay, you know, I could honestly believe that this is the future. 2077, what, 57 years from now, that it's like futuristic but also a slum, you know, weirdly. And so I was like, I like this. I do like the design, you know, of the weapons, of the cars. I like the design of the whole game. I mean, I like the shotguns, they're cool.
Weird.
The assault rifles, the katana, your outfits. I mean, my guy looks like a futuristic punk, cyberpunk samurai guy, and I put a lot of stats into my katana and blades, and now I'm like one hit killing enemies, and so I'm like, hell yes. Like, I feel like,
Our boy Hellman.
like a punk samurai guy. So I guess that's a part of the role playing, because you can kind of be like whoever you want.
Bad news is the extraction.
You can be heavy melee, or just blades only, or stealth. And so that is one thing on the role-playing aspect I appreciate, is like you can kind of play it multiple ways. You're not really stuck on one way, and it does like almost every mission, it gives you like your own way of doing things, and you're rewarded more if you do like stealth and don't raise the alarm or don't kill these people or stuff like that. So I like that you have a choice. RPG wise, dialogue wise, no. I don't know why anyone thinks that it's an RPG dialogue-wise, because you only in certain instances do you get to kind of pick where the conversation goes. But 90% of the time, the conversation plays out how the game wants it to play out. You don't get to pick. You exhaust the dialogue options, and then it goes to the next scene. And so there's parts where I'm like, I don't want to say any of this. I should be allowed to like say another thing, like another feeling. And so I was like, how is this an RPG game when I can't even choose what I want to say? The game is already like, this is what you're gonna say. Just choose what order you're gonna say it in. And so I was like, well, that's kind of sad. That was about it for the dialogue. And God, I hate that I sound like I'm being so, like, oh, I hate this game, because I don't. Once again, I do not hate this game. It's fun, I like making my guy look cool. I like driving around Night City. It's just, it gets kind of old real fast, where if you're not doing story, you're just kind of like, okay, fighting the same two gang people. Okay, doing this, and I'm running out of side missions to do, like really story-filled ones, and so it's just like, go here on the map, kill these people, and my katana does so much damage. It's just one hit decapitates every enemy that's not a boss. So I'm like, okay, the game is like pretty easy. So I guess that's gonna be it for this video. Like I said, this is not my really review. It's more of like my opinions and thoughts. And like, don't ever be so emotionally invested into a video game that you can't see things wrong with it. Because I'm sure once they patch all the bugs and start releasing content and stuff, it'll be good. But I'm judging the game for what it is right now, because it's what it is right now. It's the same with Valhalla. I'm like, dude, you really screwed me over with that bug, and so now I like basically absolutely hate it. But yeah, so that's Cyberpunk 2077. I would probably recommend getting it in like a month or two when it's on sale, and they probably release some patches for the bugs. You're not really missing much. It is a fun game, but I think it's one you can wait on. And so obviously experience it, but no rush. And if people want to have a conversation about this, I'm more than willing. Just know that if you just automatically attack me, our conversation is going to be pretty short. So thanks for watching. That's going to be it. I'm out. And as always, seriously, thank you everybody who has been listening to me, watching my stuff. I just do this as a hobby, but it's rewarding, to see people subscribing slowly but surely, people watching, people commenting. I want to have discussions and talk to people, and so I would like for the channel to grow. And for me personally, like I've always said, it's not about money. I just want like there to be a community that I can like speak to and stuff. So once again, I appreciate, like, literally everybody who's subbed to me, comments, likes, watches the video as much as they can. This video is going to be a little long, so I understand if you can't sit through it all. Not a big deal. So, until next time, take it easy, and I'm out.